In Comrade, I identify four key attributes of comrades. These attributes are discipline, joy, enthusiasm, and courage. And I think most of us get behind joy really easily, and enthusiasm and courage are pretty self-evident. But for many contemporary people, discipline kind of raises the hair on the back of your neck. And it seems like, wait a minute. I thought that discipline was something we're trying to resist or we're trying to break away from. And I think that I fully disagree, right? In fact, discipline's absolutely crucial if we're going to be the kind of committed political force that we need to be for the struggles that we face. So let's think a little bit more about discipline. So first of all, discipline enables us to do more than we think that we can do. How does it do that? It enables us to do that by making us accountable. Like when we have comrades around us, our comrades, being accountable to them and being disciplined through that accountability makes us do things that we might not want to do. And we do it because we don't want to let them down. So for example, a disciplined comrade, goes to the actions even though it's raining. The disciplined comrade goes to the meetings even though they're tired. The disciplined comrade, steps up to hand out the papers, make the banners, write the press releases, do the work. I mean, the discipline actually is what gives us the capacity to do more than we thought we could. So there's a really tight connection between the discipline that our relations with our comrades instills in us, like making us do things that we might not otherwise do. That's necessary for the success of us as an organized left. But there's actually even more to it than the kind of this level of being able to get the job done because you don't want to let your comrades down. There's more to discipline than that. And that's, in some ways, discipline actually liberates and frees us. When we subject ourselves to comradely discipline, we recognize like, oh, I don't have to have a hot take on every single thing that comes through my Twitter feed, right? I don't have to be, sort of super creative and original. I know what my party thinks, what my group thinks, and I can either be quiet just because it's not necessary for me to say everything. I can exercise that kind of discipline, or I can exercise the discipline of forwarding the party line. But having a little bit here of having self-discipline here and not feeling this compulsion to comment on everything, to constantly present ourselves as creative and original, but instead to be disciplined enough to be part of the group, right? To accept the framework of the group, the guidance of the group. This liberates us from this constant command to perform creativity and perform originality. So I think that the discipline on the left has gotten a bad rap. We look at it only as a kind of external control when it needs to be understood as the internal control we develop through collective practice with our comrades. Right? We develop it in ourselves because we start to recognize that it's absolutely it's absolutely imperative. It's what makes us into a political instrument that can achieve victories. There's one more, maybe more everyday aspect of discipline that we should recognize, which is, in fact, even though on the left we often act as if like discipline is some kind of thing that the boss puts on the worker. A lot of us also admire the discipline that people exert when they are able to exercise every day, or when they are able to make themselves paint or practice a musical instrument, or when they're really good gardeners and actually have fresh vegetables. We recognize a kind of discipline that people cultivate. And we even in those instances, we don't just sort of chalk it up to capitalism and the boss. We recognize that there's something in the flourishing of people that discipline enables. So I think we have to rehabilitate discipline on the left and recognize that if we are going to be a political force capable of moving forward towards an emancipatory, egalitarian future, we have to be disciplined. Much of the left joins liberals in being critical of communist and revolutionary socialist parties, particularly being critical of parties that may take a democratic centralist form. We see these kinds of criticisms from anarchist and horizontalists frequently. And the criticisms tend to rely on this vision of the party as authoritarian leader and cadres who are just kind of mindless functionaries carrying out the orders of a one hardcore leader, right? And we get this kind of, it's like a real parody of how a democratic socialist organization functions. Thinking in terms of the comrade and relationships of comradeship within the party helps get us beyond that kind of cartoon caricature of communist parties. How is that the case? Comradeship is the relation between those on the same side of the struggle. It's a resolutely equalizing relationship. As comrades, we all have the same relation to the struggle. We are all instrumentalizing ourselves, equally instrumentalizing ourselves for the sake of the political struggle that we have all voluntarily joined into. Now, once we have that recognition that we're all comrades on the same side of the struggle, then we can start to see like, okay, within any given set of circumstances, whether or not the circumstances are a particular set of actions or a particular campaign or a particular set of struggles, within any given set of actions, we're going to need to divide up the tasks. And for sometimes the task will be those of writing materials. Sometimes the task might be speaking. Sometimes the task might be security related. Sometimes the task might be, reaching out to other organizations and groups. As comrades, we recognize that all of those tasks are imperative, vital, and that they're equal. It's also going to be the case that not everyone is super well suited to doing every one of the tasks. And so we might need to recognize that some people have these skills, but that doesn't make them sort of higher up than others. It doesn't make them, we are all already comrades, already equal. Additionally, the kind of stereotype parody of the party is that the party makes us do something we don't want, rather than the perspective of our comrades enables us to do things that we want to do, right? We want to be out there in the streets, even though we actually really may want to go home and watch television or something. But doing it for our comrades gives us the discipline, gives us the strength, and makes us want what we want to do. So it's not that a leader is coming in and commanding, it's that our relations with our comrades push us to do the things that we signed up to do.